History isn't just made, it's created, and we have finally arrived at the crossroad in our journey. The Black experience is something that can't be described in words. It's a kinetic energy that bonds us all, but is so deeply rooted in our trauma. Still, we persevere in a land that constantly tells us that we don't belong. We try to make this tiring existence meaningful, even though we continuously have to forgive those who seek to oppress us. I thought long and hard about what I wanted to post in reference to the recent murders of Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and George Floyd. Although these names are at the forefront of our minds right now, we know that the list of innocent Black lives taken by the hands of oppression are endless. I really had to pause and reflect. I reflected on my ancestors and how hard they worked so that we could be here right now. I reflected on my mother, a single, Black, middle-class woman who scoured every resource in the 90s to make sure that my life was filled with positive Black images. From the time that I was born, she made sure I had pride in myself and that I loved my community through the good, the bad, and the ugly. You see, I had no idea back then that she was preparing me for this war. She knew that the burden of change would eventually fall onto our shoulders, and it would be our responsibility to continue a journey that was started so long ago. I thought to myself, I can't do this anymore. I can't just hold up a sign against this brutal mistreatment of my community, because as long as my skin is still Black, I'll always be in danger. Let's be real, America has been stepping on our necks long before these videos shed light on it. From the time we're born, we're made to shed away anything that's too Black because that's what white society demands. They box us in so much that we can barely breathe, and yet they expect us to grasp for air and still be grateful. You see, my mother knew that wars were not won on the battlefield, but in the mind. She instilled in me the values of cooperative economics and unity, because she knew that one finger could not do the work alone, and it would take an entire hand to lift this load. You see, to me, it was just too much at stake to just repost another hashtag or repost another video. I knew I needed to use my platform to affect tangible change. The protesting, the rioting, that's all good to bring awareness to our injustices, but now the world is watching, and what we say next matters the most. We need to speak, and not in words, but in collective action. The time has come to send America a message in a language it understands, and I'm talking about money. It's called consumer activism, and it requires that we channel our money into power. The Black consumer spends approximately $1.2 trillion annually, and if you think that's a big figure, it's because it is. Although we only make up about 14% of the population and make the least, we seem to outspend our non-Black counterparts in some categories by over 50%. Brands watch us to see what we're doing and what's hot, and then they take it and profit off of it for themselves. We're already affecting the culture, but none of it seems to be benefiting us. Market research even suggests that the Black consumer has the most brand awareness and brand interaction than any other ethnic groups. This money that we keep floating out to these businesses could go towards scholarships, housing, and money to fund causes that actually matter and benefit us. Only we can advocate for our lives, and we know it's much more to that than just police brutality. Our careers matter. Our housing matters, our wages matter, and Black economic growth matters. In the upcoming weeks, I will be reviewing Black-owned businesses to prepare for an economic shift. I will be reviewing anything that we normally use, from ride-sharing apps, streaming apps, home apparel, cleaning goods, anything that we would normally use, but only from businesses that will directly benefit us. The objective of this is to create a surge of Black enterprise that will be felt by corporations and lawmakers alike. We will send a message to America that you will no longer control our economic growth. If we want others to fight for us, we must first start fighting for ourselves. And if we want to be chosen by others, we must first choose ourselves. We need to actively build the Black economy, not tomorrow, not eventually, but starting today. So if you believe that right now is the time for revolution, then I urge you to join me in #BlackoutJuly. Starting in July, I will only and exclusively be supporting Black businesses. I will only be sharing Black businesses, Black content, and Black unity on my social media feed. This is an official call to action. To anyone who feels that it's finally time, we received our 40 acres and a mule. We want change. We want reparations in the form of economic growth, and we will no longer be silent or complicit in our community's destruction. We will choose to buy Black.